And we're live.
It's interesting because the only time, like, listening to the show, I would actually feel uncomfortable viscerally, aside from the interviews that were intentionally cringy, is when someone would bring in, I think it was poker chips, if I'm remembering that. Someone brought in poker chips for Opie, and he threw them out of the window in New York or did something along those lines to the point where the person who gave them the gift was sitting in studio, and he's like, should I do it? Should I just throw the gift away as if that person wasn't there? And then he just heaves it out. And I was like, oh, that poor fucking, like, I actually feel bad because this isn't some person on a screen that's never going to see this. This person's sitting there like, wow, I really thought that you guys would be my friends. Like,
do you know what he's talking about?
It was always so uncomfortable. And whenever anyone brought Opie a gift, no, why are you doing this? Because he would take it and shit on it, like maybe not literally, but figuratively, and then break it right in front of the person. And they would just sit there like, why would you do that? So it was really uncomfortable to watch that and see the person get really feel dejected and stuff. But it was funny. Like, I love uncomfortable shit like that. So it worked.
Taylor, do you just like uncomfortable stuff like that?
I like, if it's
I'll tell you why I asked.
If it's directly mean, I don't like it as much because it makes me feel uncomfortable. Where I'm like, oh man, like I know what it's like. Like if I brought something to, like, let's say I'm Kyle's biggest fan, and I bring him something, and I'm like, man, this will give me a chance to open up to him and talk to him. He's just a person just like me. Maybe we have things in common. And he goes, hey, that's really neat. Fuck you. And then he shoots it a bunch of times and laughs at me with his friends. I'm going to be like, wow, not only did this not go the way I planned, I feel bad about myself. And I feel like I've been taken for a fool. Like, that's, But it's different. Like, but if you're watching a video that someone made on YouTube that's really shitty and you're mocking it, it's not in a nice spirits, but I have no problem laughing at that. Yeah.
Remember when that family had made that vacation music video where they're all singing together and the dad's on the motorcycle with like the bad comb over and the guitar?
Summertime. Yeah.
Summertime. And that fat girl, that little fat kid. And you know the mom was so obese she wouldn't even go on camera. Like she
wouldn't
was just
even
like,
bother taking the abuse that she would have taken. Yeah.
I like that too. Like it's cruel, it's awful, it's terrible, but god damn if it's not hilarious
it's really
at the same
funny.
time.
Yeah, that uncomfortability is fun. We've had guests that came in live and we shot him down. Opie was really nasty to him, and I couldn't even look at them. It was so hard to be in that moment. I just wanted to run through a wall and get out of there. Yeah.
I love that. I like it when it gets really awkward, as long as I'm not the one who has to be like, as long as I don't have to keep it going. If there's someone else there who's perfectly willing to keep feeding the awkward fire, and I can ride that feeling in the center of my chest of like, this is really happening. That's fun. I like that.
Yeah. That's something to Opie's credit for, like, keeping that character, whatever it is, on the show. Like, I don't know how someone can be that directly mean to someone to their face and not just have such a horrible stomach ache that they have to like look down and not think about it for a minute, where it's just, but no, he just stayed the course. Like,
it's one of those feelings, like you get it every so often in life. Like, I went to go see years ago. I'm not a young gentleman. I went to go see Saturday Night Fever at the movies, and my mom, me, and my mom's mother, my grandmother, went. And there's giving the blowjob in the back seat of the car in front of the disco, and it was so I just wanted out of there. I got like this. I was sweating, and it was so uncomfortable. And I would get that same type of uncomfortable feeling during the show. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Everybody's had that when you're watching a movie with your parents or whatever, and you don't realize just how adult this thing is going to be, and whatever it may be, whether it's just like teen sex or like, you know, a rape scene or like some awkward nude scene that goes on for far too long, and your mom and dad are right there, and so now you're like, well, they know I know about this now because we're all sitting here together. I better act surprised.
Last week we're watching Bad Moms. You guys familiar with the movie Bad Moms? It's funny. Mia Kunis is in it, and some other Christina Applegate is in it. And basically, it's these moms who find the pressure of being perfect moms, PTA attending, bake sale, cooking, whatever. And she's like, let's just be bad moms. And they drop some of the mom responsibilities, etc. Anyway, to me, I thought the movie was going to be funny, and I knew it'd be a little bit edgy because they drink and throw a party and stuff. And I'm like, all right, but this is cool. I'm watching it with my kids. Dude, Like opening scene, the husband is masturbating to what they think is porn. And Mia Kunis is like, this is funny. This is funny. I never caught you before. Ooh, she's got a big bush on her. And you see, like, the woman's got a big bush, like my head of hair on her snatch. And then it turns out the woman's live and he's like cheating on her. And I'm like, this is like, my son's 13, I didn't know that we were going to watch Cooch together, but there we were.
Cute movie. Yeah.
So you are that parent who makes the mistake. Okay. Cause I've always done this from the other side. I've always been the kid who was in a room with an adult who didn't like preview the movie beforehand, but you are that adult.
Know what? I'm
imagine
the adult.
Like inside Hope's brain, there's just like, she's just like cutting herself to make this stop. Just like just anything in her head to like not do this.
So when I would watch a show, I could watch a show that was like 99.9% clean and reasonable and something you'd expect me to be watching. But the one time there's boobs on camera, your parents walk into the room. I do that to Hope now. It's like the situation has reversed. But unlike my parents who would just like pretend they don't see it or walk through, I'd be like, Hope, what are you watching exactly? And she's like, I swear, this is not representative of the show that I'm seeing as a whole. Like like this sex scene or whatever.
And then of course, as soon as she says that, it turns out that's when the public bathhouse montage starts in the movie, because that's how it always goes with parents.
Yeah, it's.
Well, you just happen to come right in at the bukkake scene. Don't judge this. Don't judge the whole art film as a whole because of this one bukkake scene.
Bukkake is kind of in its own league. Anyway, you have to time your finish very carefully with bukkake, because if you finish in the middle of a bukkake video, it just becomes kind of upsetting. Where you're like, oh my god, I can see in her eyes, like she doesn't have a father. She's really struggling in life trying to.
Oh, she has one. If he hadn't been around to touch her, she wouldn't be buried up to her neck in sand with 18 guys surrounding her right now.
Maybe not. It's just it's one of those genres that very quickly you realize the gross. Like if you finish while watching lesbian porn or something, that after effect, you're like, okay, this is two humans doing it. There's nothing crazy going on. There's no animals involved. There's no not too much fluid, but then other genres like bukkake, you finish in the middle of that and you're ready to turn it off. You have to watch for another 30 seconds just to be like, what kind of person are you?